There's a timeless truth whispered across generations. When we're young, we chase the approval of others, but as we mature, we begin to understand that true wisdom often lies in doing the exact opposite. Welcome to today's video. We're diving into 9 critical mistakes that intelligent men must avoid in relationships. Mistakes that don't just hurt us, but quietly sabotage the connection we seek. These aren't just surface-level dating tips. These are principles rooted in Stoic philosophy, drawn from hard-earned life lessons and insights passed down by the wise. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest emperors in Roman history, once said something deeply profound. A person's biggest mistakes aren't always the things they did wrong, but the things they should never have attempted in the first place. Isn't that ironic? The smarter we are, the more likely we are to overthink, to overanalyze, and to step right into traps that simpler minds would walk past without a second thought. In this video, I'll share reflections, built not only from Stoicism, but from the kinds of hard lessons that leave a mark, the kind of pain that, once endured, shapes a better version of you. And if you've ever walked through fire just to understand yourself better, then this content will resonate. As we go through each of these mistakes, you may find yourself nodding, maybe even sighing, realizing, yeah, I've been there. That recognition is a good sign. Growth always starts with awareness. Before we begin, take a second and leave a comment if you've ever made one of these mistakes. Your story might be exactly what someone else needs to read to avoid making the same misstep. Mistake number 1, revealing too much about your past. Let's begin with one of the most underrated, yet powerfully important, foundations of any relationship: protecting your past. We live in a world that glorifies oversharing. Social media encourages people to pour out their entire life stories to strangers. In this kind of environment, keeping certain parts of your history private isn't just rare, it's a strength. Your past holds your personal battles, your painful lessons, your mistakes, your triumphs. It's your inner world, and not everyone deserves access to it. The Stoics, especially Epictetus, believed in the power of discretion. He famously said, "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do." He wasn't encouraging secrecy. He was teaching clarity and intention, a reminder to focus on the man you are becoming, not the man you once were. So why does keeping your past private matter? Because in relationships, there's often an unspoken pressure to bear everything, to confess every sin, to reveal every regret. But honesty without boundaries isn't virtue. It's vulnerability without wisdom. Yes, transparency builds trust, but oversharing, that can lead to judgment, misinterpretation, and in worst-case scenarios, emotional manipulation. Have you ever shared something too soon, only to feel the other person looking at you differently afterward? That's the danger. Remember this: your story is yours to tell, but you also have the right to choose the time, the place, and the person. Your past can explain you, but it should never define you, especially not in the eyes of someone who hasn't yet earned your trust. This isn't about hiding things. It's about discernment. It's knowing that your vulnerability is a gift, and not everyone deserves to unwrap it. Sometimes, the danger of oversharing isn't just about what others might think. It's about how we frame ourselves when you reveal too much. Especially early in a relationship, you risk painting a picture of a past version of yourself, one that may no longer even exist. And unfortunately, not everyone will view your vulnerability through a lens of compassion or maturity. Instead of seeing your growth, they may fixate on your flaws, your regrets, or the worst moments you've ever endured. That version, the one who struggled, failed, or fell apart, might start to overshadow the man you've become. The hidden risks of oversharing. Let's face it, not every person handles openness with grace. Some people may unintentionally or intentionally use your words against you. When you hand someone your deepest truths without first ensuring they are trustworthy, you put yourself at risk of emotional manipulation, or worse, being misunderstood, pitied, or controlled. And here's the Stoic truth: not every part of you needs to be public to be real. One of the most subtle, yet powerful consequences of oversharing is the loss of mystery. Stoic philosophy places deep value in restraint, in speaking less, but with intention. When you reveal everything, all at once, It's like opening a beautifully wrapped gift, only to find there's nothing left inside to discover. As the great Seneca once said, silence is a lesson learned through the many sufferings of life. Let that sink in. In silence, we don't hide, we reflect. We choose when and what to express, because not all stories are ready to be told. And then, there's the question of power dynamics. When you reveal too much too soon, you may unintentionally and over the steering wheel of your relationship, you allow the other person to frame you through the lens of your past, rather than engaging with the version of you standing in front of them today. This can shift the entire balance. They now hold the narrative. What the Stoics knew about privacy, the Stoics understood this deeply. For them, wisdom didn't just come from what was said. It came from what was left unsaid. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." That power includes the ability to choose what you share with others. Exercising restraint doesn't make you cold or secretive. It makes you wise. It protects your inner peace. Keeping your past private isn't about hiding from responsibility or avoiding the truth. It's about understanding that your life experiences, the battles you've fought, the demons you've faced, are part of your journey, not weapons for others to use against you. Privacy versus authenticity. What's the difference? Let's be clear. Privacy is not deception. Being private is not the same as being dishonest. Authenticity is about presenting your true self as you are now, not unloading every page of your past like it's a requirement. Think about it. When you first meet someone, is it really necessary to share every painful chapter, every mistake, every regret? Instead, wait for the right moment, when trust has been earned and the bond is stronger. You can begin to share those deeper layers. When done thoughtfully, revealing pieces of your past can deepen connection, not by dominating the conversation, but by adding richness and context to who you are. Done right, your past should act as a bridge, not a barrier. So, how do you protect your past? Here are some practical ways to stay grounded and wise. 1. Set boundaries in advance. Think ahead. What parts of your past are off limits? What are you okay sharing? Knowing this ahead of time gives you control, even in the heat of deep conversation. 2. Practice polite, firm responses. If someone starts pressing for more than you're ready to give, be kind, but clear. Say something like, "That's a part of my life I'm not ready to talk about yet," or maybe someday, but not today. 3. Know your audience. Not everyone deserves access to your full story. Share selectively, only with those who have shown through actions, not words, that they're trustworthy. 4. Focus on the present. If you do share parts of your past, don't linger in the pain or the drama. Frame it through the lens of growth. "I used to struggle with that, but it taught me a lot," or "That chapter made me stronger, and I'm proud of who I am now." 5. Build trust gradually. Deep connections don't form overnight. Let them unfold naturally. Let people earn the right to know your story, one page at a time. Coming up next, in the following section, we'll explore mistake number 2, another trap that intelligent men often fall into, despite their awareness. Let people earn the right to know your story. Let them prove, through their words and actions, that they value and respect you, not just your vulnerability. Never forget this. Your past does not define your worth. Sharing it isn't a requirement for love, and it should never be a test for respect. Anyone who demands full access to your history without earning your trust likely isn't someone who deserves a place in your future. The hidden benefits of privacy: when you guard your past with care, you gain far more than you lose. Self-respect and boundaries. People respect those who respect themselves. When you set firm boundaries, you silently teach others how to treat you. You show that you're not desperate to please. You're grounded. Narrative control. Keeping your past private means you stay in control of your story. You decide how it's told, and more importantly, how it's understood. You're no longer a character in someone else's version of your life. Peace of mind. When you're not constantly rehashing old mistakes or explaining your past, you begin to free your mind from unnecessary self-judgment. You live more in the present, and that's where real power is found. Deeper, more meaningful connections. Upbringing. Sharing less, but with intention, often creates more depth. When you open up selectively, you build trust naturally. Real connection thrives on mutual respect, not exposure. Mistake number 2, avoiding the fear of being alone. Let's move to the next trap, one that is far more common than we'd like to admit. The fear of being alone. It's uncomfortable, it's powerful, and it quietly influences many of the poor decisions we make in relationships. Whether we like to admit it or not, fear of solitude can lead us to settle for less, stay in situations that damage us, and accept behaviors we'd never tolerate under normal circumstances. But the Stoics had a different view. They believed that facing this fear head-on wasn't just necessary, it was transformative. Epictetus once said, "We suffer not from the events in our lives, but from our judgment about them." Think about that for a moment. It's not being alone that's the problem. It's the story we tell ourselves about what being alone means. How this fear controls youth. This fear convinces people to cling to unhealthy relationships. It whispers lies. You'll be alone forever. No one else will want you. Being with someone, anyone, is better than being by yourself. And under that weight, we accept disrespect. We ignore red flags. We shrink ourselves just to keep someone around. But here's the hard truth. There is no greater prison than a relationship that traps your potential, your peace, and your dignity. Let that sink in. When you stay with someone out of fear, not love, out of desperation, not choice, you don't just lose them, you lose yourself. The illusion of security. One of the most dangerous lies this fear tells us is that being in a relationship equals safety. People convince themselves, if I'm with someone, I'm secure, I'm protected from loneliness, from judgment, from the difficult work of self-discovery. But that's an illusion. Security that depends on another person is fragile. It can be taken from you in a single argument, a single betrayal, or a sudden change of heart. The Stoics understood this deeply. Seneca once wrote, "A man who is at peace with himself does not need the approval of others." True security, it doesn't come from a partner. It comes from within, from self-respect, from knowing your own worth, from standing strong even when no one else is standing beside you. Why this fear is so dangerous. Fear of being alone leads to desperation, and desperation is the root of many self-betrayals. It drives people into toxic relationships. It keeps them trapped long after the love is gone. It blinds them to the beauty of solitude and the strength that lives in silence. Have you ever stayed too long in a situation that hurt you simply because the alternative, being alone, felt too terrifying? If so, you're not alone. But that fear, if left unchecked, can consume your future. It will rob you of growth, clarity, and the kind of life you truly deserve. Up next, we'll explore how embracing solitude can become one of your greatest strengths and the powerful mindset shift that intelligent men must make to avoid self-sabotage in love. When you're terrified of being alone, you're not merely dodging loneliness, you're running from the person staring back at you in the silence. You fill the quiet with someone else's presence instead of wrestling with your own thoughts, fears, and truths. Yet, as the Stoics teach us, mastering yourself is the greatest power you can claim. Embracing solitude as strength. What most men don't realize is this: being alone isn't a weakness, it's your secret weapon. It's the sacred space where you rediscover who you truly are, what you truly value, and what you genuinely want from life. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Nowhere can man find a quieter or more untroubled retreat than in his own soul." Imagine a fortress built from your own peace of mind, walls of self-reliance, and towers of purpose. When you learn to embrace solitude, you stop clamoring for external validation. You no longer settle for scraps of attention masquerading as love. Instead, you cultivate an inner world so rich and fulfilling that anyone who enters it adds to your joy, rather than becoming its sole source. The freedom of facing your fear. Confronting the fear of being alone isn't just liberating, it's transformative. It teaches you you are enough just as you are. You don't need someone else to complete your story. Being single doesn't equate to being unlovable or unworthy. You're brave enough to walk your path, even if it's an empty road for now. The Stoic approach to solitude. The Stoics didn't merely endure solitude, they celebrated it. They saw it as a vital season of growth, a time to reflect, to sharpen the mind, and to strengthen the spirit. Epictetus reminded us, freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control. Here's the unshakable truth. No one can guarantee that another person will stay. The only constant you can truly depend on is yourself. How to transform solitude into power. So, how do you turn the fear of being alone into your greatest ally? It starts with shifting your perspective. 1. Reframe solitude as opportunity. Instead of viewing alone time as punishment, see it as a chance to invest in yourself. 2. Commit to personal growth. Learn new skills, dive into books, or launch that side project you've been postponing. 3. Reconnect with your values. Use meditation, journaling, or reflective walks to listen to your own mind. 4. Nurture your inner world. Fill your life with meaningful pursuits, hobbies, creative outlets, and friendships that inspire you. 5. Build a life you love. When you're genuinely content with your own company, you won't settle for relationships that clash with your vision or values. 6. Release desperation. Desperation repels healthy connections. Replace it with calm confidence that attracts people who match your energy. 7. Practice gratitude. Appreciate the freedom you have right now, the freedom to grow, to explore, and to become the man you aspire to be. When you're terrified of being alone, you're not merely dodging loneliness, you're running from the person staring back at you in the silence. You fill the quiet with someone else's presence instead of wrestling with your own thoughts, fears, and truths. Yet, as the Stoics teach us, mastering yourself is the greatest power you can claim. Embracing solitude as strength. What most men don't realize is this: being alone isn't a weakness. It's your secret weapon. It's the sacred space where you rediscover who you truly are, what you truly value, and what you genuinely want from life. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Nowhere can man find a quieter or more untroubled retreat than in his own soul." Imagine a fortress built from your own peace of mind, walls of self-reliance, and towers of purpose. When you learn to embrace solitude, you stop clamoring for external validation. You no longer settle for scraps of attention masquerading as love. Instead, you cultivate an inner world so rich and fulfilling that anyone who enters it adds to your joy. Rather than becoming its sole source, the freedom of facing your fear, confronting the fear of being alone, isn't just liberating, it's transformative. It teaches you are enough just as you are. You don't need someone else to complete your story. Being single doesn't equate to being unlovable or unworthy. You're brave enough to walk your path, even if it's an empty road for now. The Stoic approach to solitude. The Stoics didn't merely endure solitude, they celebrated it. They saw it as a vital season of growth, a time to reflect, to sharpen the mind, and to strengthen the spirit. Epictetus reminded us, freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control. Here's the unshakable truth. No one can guarantee that another person will stay. The only constant you can truly depend on is yourself. How to transform solitude into power. So, how do you turn the fear of being alone into your greatest ally? It starts with shifting your perspective. 1. Reframe solitude as opportunity. Instead of viewing alone time as punishment, see it as a chance to invest in yourself. 2. Commit to personal growth. Learn new skills, dive into books, or launch that side project you've been postponing. 3. Reconnect with your values. Use meditation, journaling, or reflective walks to listen to your own mind. 4. Nurture your inner world. Fill your life with meaningful pursuits, hobbies, creative outlets, and friendships that inspire you. 5. Build a life you love. When you're genuinely content with your own company, you won't settle for relationships that clash with your vision or values. 6. Release desperation. Desperation repels healthy connections. Replace it with calm confidence that attracts people who match your energy. 7. Practice gratitude. Appreciate the freedom you have right now, the freedom to grow, to explore, and to become the man you aspire to be. Coming up next in Mistake. #3. We'll uncover how overanalyzing every word and action can quietly sabotage your relationship. Ready to keep leveling up? Mistake number 4. Dimming your light to comfort others. Marcus Aurelius once reminded us, the best revenge is not to be like your enemy. In relationships, this wisdom translates into one essential rule: never hide your brilliance to spare someone's discomfort. Celebrating your victories isn't bragging, it's honoring the sweat, grit, and vision that fueled them. A partner who truly cares won't ask you to shrink. She'll cheer you on, driven by your example to pursue her own dreams. Imagine you've just landed a major promotion or completed a passion project that consumed months of your life. Your instinct might be to downplay it, soften the news, so it doesn't cast a shadow over your partner's day. But when you do that, you're effectively telling her, your feelings matter more than my growth. And in doing so, you dim the very spark that drew her to you. What's the solution? Own your journey out loud. Share your milestones, not to boast, but to inspire. The right person won't feel threatened by your success. She'll be energized to turn the page alongside you. Let your achievements be signposts on the road you're building together, not secrets you compare yourself to. Mistake number 5. Neglecting your mental health. Let's address something many men still shy away from. Protecting your mental fortress. Stoic teachings place the mind at the heart of true strength. Yet far too often we guard our bodies and bank accounts better than we guard our inner peace. Think about it, most of us invest hours in the gym to sharpen our bodies, dedicate weekends to financial planning. Yet when it comes to our mental well-being, we shrug off emotional upheaval as just part of a relationship. We let late-night arguments, social media drama, or someone else's mood swings chip away at our calm until checking your phone every 5 minutes or replaying a single text exchange becomes your nightly ritual. Marcus Aurelius warned, very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking. Still, I've seen some of the brightest men confident at work, steady with friends, transform into anxious shells when their relationship turns toxic. Their productivity plummets, goals stall, and even close friendships feel the strain of their unspoken stress. Here's the truth. Your mental health is the foundation beneath every other part of your life. When it cracks, everything else, your work, your friendships, your dreams, starts to crumble. How to prioritize your mind. 1. Set unbreakable boundaries. Decide what you will no longer tolerate: late night hostility, constant negativity, gaslighting, and communicate that clearly. 2. Speak your needs. A healthy relationship welcomes honest conversation. If something drains you, say so. 1. Choose peace over pain. If a relationship consistently leaves you exhausted, muster the courage to walk away. Protecting your peace is not selfish, it's necessary. 2. Cultivate joy actively. Don't wait for happiness to arrive. Schedule time for activities that recharge you: reading, exercise, creative hobbies, or even quiet meditation. 3. Practice gratitude daily. Remind yourself each morning of at least 3 things you appreciate. It rewires your brain to focus on abundance rather than scarcity. Up next, in mistake number 6, we'll dive into how chasing perfection can paradoxically push you and your partner away. Ready to keep sharpening your relationship wisdom? If your peace of mind is constantly under attack, if you're always walking on eggshells, questioning your worth, or bracing for the next emotional storm, then let's call it what it is. That's not love, that's emotional warfare. The Stoics taught us one of life's most liberating truths. Your mental peace is not negotiable. It's not something you trade in exchange for affection. It's not a sacrificial offering for the sake of keeping someone happy. Because if you lose your inner peace, what are you really bringing to the relationship? A man who's anxious, exhausted, and depleted isn't a gift to anyone, not even to himself. So what's the solution? Set boundaries and protect them. Learn to say no without guilt or explanation. Walk away from drama, no matter how seductive it may seem in the moment. Most importantly, engrave this truth into your soul. Someone who genuinely cares for you will never make you choose between your mental health and their happiness. Maintaining your mental health is not selfish. It's essential. Because here's the reality no one tells you. You cannot pour from an empty cup. You can't build a strong, lasting relationship when your own mind is crumbling. Mistake number 6, not staying true to yourself. No, let's move into something just as dangerous but far more subtle. Losing your identity in a relationship. Albert Camus once wrote, "The moment you start changing who you are to please someone else is the moment you start losing yourself." That's a heavy truth, and one that too many men learn too late. How many times have you nodded in agreement with something you didn't believe in? How often have you forced a smile, pretending to enjoy something you hated, or said yes when every fiber in your body was begging you to say no? These aren't minor compromises. They're quiet betrayals of your own values, and each one chips away at your integrity. The Stoic view on authenticity. Stoics taught that acting against our nature causes us to suffer twice. Once in the effort to play a role that doesn't fit. Point two, and again in the aftermath, when our performance fails and we're left feeling hollow. I've watched men with strong principles gradually abandon them just to hold on to a relationship. They compromise on dreams. They pull away from lifelong friends. They reshape their identity to match someone else's vision of who they should be. They become actors, not partners, performers trying to earn approval. But here's the irony. The more you try to become who someone else wants, the less attractive you actually become. Authenticity has a magnetic power that no performance can replace. Epictetus said it best: if you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. Being true to yourself might cost you some popularity, but it will earn you respect, the kind that endures. Here's the solution. Start saying no to things that don't align with your values. Share your true opinions, even when it feels uncomfortable. Stand your ground, even if it means standing alone. Yes, some people might walk away, but ask yourself, would you rather be loved for who you are or accepted for who you're pretending to be? Because the truth is, the right person, the one worth keeping, won't want a copy of themselves. They'll want you, all of you. The man who stands by his word, who knows who he is, and who doesn't trade authenticity for approval. Coming up next, in mistake number 7, we'll explore why constantly seeking validation is a trap intelligent men fall into, and how you can break free from it once and for all. The right partner won't demand that you change who you are. They won't try to mold you into something you're not. Instead, they'll inspire you to evolve, to grow, and to become the best version of yourself, not a watered-down replica of someone else's expectations. Mistake number 7, sacrificing your goals for someone else. Here's a painful truth that many good men learn too late. Too many of them derail their ambitions in the name of love. Seneca said it clearly: no person has the power to have everything they want, but it is in their power not to waste their time chasing what they can't have. But that's exactly what happens when a man abandons his purpose for someone else's plans. I've seen it more times than I can count. A man with fire in his eyes suddenly puts his business on hold. He turns down opportunities. He shelves his dreams, all because he believes that's what love demands. He tells himself it's noble, that it's compromise or sacrifice. But here's the cold truth. When you give up your dreams for someone else's comfort, you're not just sacrificing your goals, you're sacrificing your identity. And the worst part, years later, these men look back with heavy hearts asking, what happened to me? Where did my dream go? How did I become so lost? They look in the mirror and barely recognize the reflection staring back. The fire is gone, the passion is buried, and the resentment, it's rising, quietly but steadily. Marcus Aurelius said, look well into yourself. There is a source of strength which will always spring up if you will always look. But you have to look inward, not outward. The danger isn't just the opportunities missed, it's the respect lost, the respect you once had for yourself, and the respect your partner had for the man who used to chase his vision with fire and focus. Let's be honest, no one is truly inspired by someone who gives up their purpose for love. It might feel romantic at first, but eventually, the person who surrendered everything becomes a shadow, not a partner. What's the solution? Keep your dreams alive. Let them fuel you. Let them guide your steps. Yes, invite your partner into your journey. Share your vision. Let them be part of it if they're willing. But never abandon your path just to walk on theirs, because a true partner doesn't demand that you sacrifice your mountain, they help you climb it. A real relationship is not two people becoming one. It's two whole people building something greater together. The right woman won't compete with your ambition, she'll be your greatest supporter. Mistake number 8, abandoning family and friends. There's another trap that many men fall into, and it's just as damaging, though it often feels less obvious at first. Neglecting the people who've always been there, all for the sake of one romantic relationship. You might tell yourself you're investing deeply in love, but in the process, you're slowly burning bridges you may desperately need later. Plato once said, "The first and greatest victory is to conquer yourself. To be conquered by yourself is of all things most shameful and vile." Yet how often have we seen this play out? A man skips his best friend's birthday. He bails on family gatherings. He slowly pulls away from traditions, hobbies, and the friendships that shaped him. He convinces himself that this is maturity, that this is what commitment looks like. But what's really happening is this. He's trading his foundation for fragility. The tragedy of isolation's true cost doesn't reveal itself right away, but time has a way of testing everything. And when that romantic relationship starts to crumble or ends altogether, many men realize they've cut themselves off from every other form of support. Friends gone, family distant, community faded. They're left standing alone, trying to rebuild bonds that took years to form but only months to neglect. And sometimes it's too late. In the next section, we'll dive into mistake number 9, perhaps the most subtle but most damaging pattern intelligent men fall into. Ready for the final insight? And when the relationship ends or slowly fades, they're left truly alone. Not because they were unloved, but because they gave up the people who loved them before. The solution: maintain your friendships, keep your family close, make time for the ones who were there before. The relationship and who will still be standing beside you if it ends. Because here's a reality check. A partner who tries to cut you off from your support system isn't protecting your relationship, they're controlling your life. Your closest connections are your safety net. Don't cut it away in the name of love. Because when life shakes you, and it will, you'll need people who catch you, not remind you that you pushed them away. Mistake number 9, excessive dependence. Sign now. We arrive at the final trap, one that even the most intelligent, capable men fall into. Excessive emotional dependency. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." But far too often, strong men give away that power. They begin to depend entirely on a woman's attention, her approval, her presence just to feel okay. They check their phones obsessively. They base their entire schedule around her availability. They feel a wave of anxiety if she doesn't reply within minutes. This isn't passion. It's panic dressed up as love. The Stoic truth: when you make someone else responsible for your peace, you become a slave to their behavior. And here's the paradox: the more dependent you become, the less attractive you appear. Why? Because no one, no matter how loving, wants to be your entire world. It's too much pressure. It's too heavy. When you make someone your everything, you don't just lose yourself, you end up losing them too. So what's the solution? Build a life so rich, so grounded, and so full of meaning that a relationship isn't your oxygen, it's your sunshine. A beautiful addition, not your entire atmosphere. Cultivate your own interests, maintain your own space, invest in yourself relentlessly, because true strength comes from within. As Marcus Aurelius reminded us, the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. Closing message: these 9 Stoic principles are more than just relationship advice. They are a framework for living a way to walk through the world with dignity, strength, and unwavering authenticity. If today's message resonated with you, hit that like button and share it with a brother, a friend, or anyone who might be walking the same path. And in the comments, tell us which of these 9 principles hit you the hardest. Your experience might just light the way for someone else. Because remember, the strongest relationships aren't built on dependency. They're built on mutual respect and individual strength. Until next time, stay strong, stay wise, and above all, stay true to yourself.